Alright, so here's a Tacview recording of a dogfight that I had with Gams last night. So we started out just north of Azaville over the water, and is the recording started yet? Has the game started yet? No. So I think, yeah, we separated. One flew north, one flew south, and then we turned around for a merge. So we were both in P51 D30s. Let me see something here. I want to see if I could get other information in that. In that little window there. Position, units. Let's do magnetic north. And time offset, no. Display cockpit instruments. I know there's a way to get additional information in this window, but I don't remember what it is. So I think this is the altitude here. So that's like 12,500 feet. And I believe. And I'm not sure if this relates to the speed. If so, it's probably a percentage of Mach. Alright, so Gams turns first towards me. Options. Alright, I'll just continue like this. So he's already turned towards me. I didn't realize that, but I'm going to turn towards him. And here we are. I think he's just shooting to show me where he is. And oops, let's center this. And here we are. So we're roughly the same altitude. And we're headed for each other on the merge. So this is Gams, and this is me. So on the first merge, we don't shoot, and then as soon as we pass each other, the fight is on. We're both in identical planes, and we both took 40% fuel. And then you can see here, this is the first maneuver. So we started in a one circle. Which quickly evolved into scissors. So here we are on the merge. And I've decided to go up. So Gams also I'm banking left, he's banking right. Which quickly becomes a one-circle fight in identical planes. I don't believe any shots are fired on the first fights on pass. Right, because I see what he's done, and you know, I want to avoid getting shot in the face. So then, as you can see, we're basically moving into kind of a rolling scissors. But at this point, I have a slight advantage because Gams is shot out in front of me. But he realizes that and loops over, and then right here I lose the advantage. He's starting to get behind me here. The scissors continues, and it actually, you know, it's a pretty classic scissors pattern. And we're both, you know, trying to get on the other six, so we're, you know, playing with the energy. And I think at this point we're probably both trying to slow down. This goes on a little bit. He takes a snapshot here, but it doesn't look like anything hits. Yeah, it's late. And I go into a defensive vertical spiral. But he is on my six at this point. So early on in the fight, Gams did manage to get on to my six. And so I'm basically just jinking and evading here. He misses again. Gets pretty close. So what I do at this point is I pull it into a high G left-hand bank to try to stop this pursuit. So I successfully pull across in a way that he doesn't really have a shot at that point. And he's now trying to follow me and anticipate the bank. And then we It's kind of like we go back into a scissors here, briefly. But I've managed to equalize the interaction again, and by going back up into the vertical at this point, so what I've done is I've done a hard G left-hand bank, which Gams tried to follow, but then I broke it up by reversing my turn into the vertical, sort of a vertical scissors, like a mini high yo-yo, if you will. And now I've managed to get back onto Gams's tail. I mean, this is all happening very quickly. And we're in a, I mean, it's not quite a vertical scissors, but but it kind of is. So, you know, I'm doing a series of defensive loops, and in doing so, I'm slowing myself down. I'm using my energy to get behind him, basically going into the vertical, trying to get him to shoot past, and then once I see that he's in front of me, I'm trying to hold that position. So right there, I try to take a snap canopy shot, but miss. But I've successfully quickly reversed the advantage that Gams had at that point. I'm trying to anticipate his position, so I'm sort of lead shooting, but missing. But I'm also trying to put a lot of pressure on him, you know, by letting him see that tracers are coming across his nose. And so I see he's now going into the right-hand bank. I'm anticipating, I'm staying inside his circle. And I'm doing that with flaps and engine management. And there I get the first good shot of the dogfight on Gams. So it's a good raking shot across his wings. And I've definitely got the advantage now. I'm spraying a bit too much here, wasting some ammo. But I'm trying to capitalize on the moment that he's crossed my nose. And then we go into sort of he goes into sort of a, well, it's like a defense to my pursuit. He's jinking. I'm sort of spraying a bit too much. So I'm starting to realize I'm wasting a little too much ammo. So I'm trying to hold off until I have a better shot. Taking shorter bursts just to keep the pressure on. But you know, I'm definitely on his 6 now. So I seem to remember this pursuit continued a little bit for a while, and then Gams reversed. I mean, we're in identical planes, so if he kept running, I'd have to keep taking these sort of pot shots at him. Right here, he loses some energy because he's jinking and he's banking, and I'm catching up to him because of that. Still taking pot shots, but I'm trying to take short bursts so I don't waste all my ammo, hoping that I'll get a lucky shot on him. I mean, they're coming pretty close. And they're finally, I get a good hit. I can't remember if it was at this point or if I got one more hit on him. I think I set him on fire at that point. And then he tried to do I think he's already on fire here. And he tried to do a quick loop over and take a shot at me as he, yeah. So that was a little scary. But he's already burning. I mean, he's down at this point. And there he goes. He bails out. So that's our dogfight that we did last night on the Wolf Pack server. It wasn't, you know, it was over pretty quick. But you know, it was pretty much a standard scissors for position. Then after this, Gams and I did some hammerhead stalls over Azaville in the P51s, which actually look kind of cool on Tacview. So the P51 is rather well suited to hammerhead stalls. And you can sort of see what they are with the Tacview. So here's me going into a hammerhead stall. Actually, that's not quite, is it? I'm not sure if the first one really was one, but it might be. But you can see we're going up to between 6,000 and 7,000 feet, and then down to the deck, full speed. Gams and me, and it makes this sort of lovely pattern here. It's like this, almost like a flower pattern of these hammerhead stalls. Sort of see what happens here at the apex. So I'm just letting the plane wing over onto the left wing. As I go down. If I descend into the vertical. So this is a nice thing to do, especially if you have a wingman, and let's say you're attacking either guys who are landing or taking off, or ground targets, trucks, tanks, guns, because you can play around with your position, and it's hard for the AA to track you because you're changing altitude so drastically and position. There it is again. So as I'm going up into the vertical, I'm throttling back. As I get to about 150 miles an hour indicated, I start to throttle back and give it a little left rudder, and I let the torque of the prop pull me over into a hammerhead stall. So I'm falling out of the air, but I'm doing it in a controlled fashion, and then coming back straight down and picking up lots of energy, lots of speed, up to the top speed of the aircraft of around 500 miles an hour. And it's also giving my engine a chance to cool off when I'm in the descent. So I'm going full mill power on the ascent, but I cut throttle at the top of the apex as I start to lose, and Gams also is doing the same thing. So you can see how effective this could be if you had like 2 or even 3. I mean, the trick with more than one plane doing it is not hitting each other. But as you can see, I'm just sort of winging over, and it makes this nice pattern. So these are our, this is an illustration of what we're doing here. So that was fun. We put the smoke pods on. So we were performing a little air show for the guys down on the ground at Hasseville. And that was last night on the Wolf Pack server. So I apologize if the audio wasn't too good, or if I took a little too much time getting started, but Gams asked me to post this, and so I'm posting. All right, thanks a lot.